Well, it's a new day. It's about, what, 9:45. I've already had my 5-mile walk-in this morning. So, and as you can see from the back of the way here, it's not too bad. It's trying to be sunny. I don't think it's going to make it. The weatherman says it won't, but it's trying to be. So it's teasing me and knows that I can't take Rosie out for a bit in the sunshine today, so it's coming back to me. So we're going to get into the Variator today, and that's going to be the focus of this one mainly. So let me go ahead and reset up over my shoulder here to give you a good shot of coming in. Hopefully I'll do, if I can remember, I'll do some close-ups, because I got a good enough lighting that we can get in here and see what I'm doing. Some of the panels pulling that I was doing yesterday, it's kind of dark, and I guess some of the places are mysterious, but you know, once you start pulling panels, you'll see where everything is. So let me reset up and we'll get into tearing this thing apart. Okay, I've already popped this clip. You just push down on this thing right here, and this got this tied up, and there's also held in place. It's got a little protector on it too. It's one of the cables going back to the O2 sensor back here, your pollution control. And this little guy, you need a really sharp, I had to bring out my knife to get underneath to open it up, but it opens up and you can pull this out of the way. The other thing I'm doing now is you have to take off the rear pylon peg. And it goes into aluminum. This is aluminum frame here, so this is one of those bolts that's got to have the anti-seize on it. Just for S&Gs. Let me go around. I've also marked on here where the short, I can't remember, either short or long. I'll know when I get one out, but I took my marking pen and marked their locations because they're all the same except for length. And so these little guys go back in these spots right here. And they're like an 8, and these are 12. So I guess that's the big thing, is the size difference. So let me take off some, and we'll come back when I'm getting ready to pull the case. Because basically it's just, you know, okay, I had to get a longer extension here. I'm going to go ahead and bust them loose. And this is one of those things too, because it's kind of thin. I try to, when I'm tightening the bolts down, I start in the middle and I work my ways to the ends, kind of like a head gasket on a car. So let me go ahead and take the rest of the bolts out and we'll come back. And this up here is a 6mm on these little guys. Okay, up in here there's a little clip that sits on a bracket that the two little bolts going through the case hold in place. So just take that off and lay it down, and you can see all the bolts, the 12mm head bolts are all the same length. So now we'll go back to the 6. Pull these guys out. There's one on the bottom, one small one on the bottom. And you want to mark its location, but it's probably obvious when you look at the hole size. You'll know exactly where, because these are such a smaller diameter that the hole going through the case is a lot smaller. And they're all the same length, so you don't have to worry about. And let's pull the got a little hook on it too. So, okay, you get 4 of the little ones and 6 of the big ones. And now I knew I had found a way the last time. I tried tapping it around, just kind of loosen it up. But underneath, in the front here, let me hold the camera so you can see. Okay, I finally figured it out. Right here is a little spot on the bottom forward part of the case, and if you just stick your screwdriver in there, which is hard to do when you're looking at the viewfinder, just stick it in there and pull it a little bit, and where the hell did it go? Pull it in here and it pops away. So I got it loose, and now I got a gap I can pull along and take the case off. And you can see where that one little bolt goes, where I've got my mark right here. Okay, now it's loose. You just got to pull it out and get that guy out of the way. And sometimes the pipe is a little pain in the ass to get around, but there you got it off. This is where you need to put a little bit of soap grease in there too, and then you got your big bearing here on the front. Okay, set that aside. And there's a gasket in here too. I'm just going to leave in place. It's a metal gasket, goes up in here, so I'm not gonna. Okay, this will. There's a secret here. I'll figure it out. Okay, get the hook out first, then roll it around. Okay, just you can't forget to put it back in again. I tell you, my that belt still looks like brand new. I think we're paying for something we probably don't need. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of belts and maintenance over my life, and they run 8 hours a day, 365 days a year, sometimes 10 and 12 hours a day, and I never had one break. And this is on main sortation lines. I was getting ready to break out my Sharpie here to mark it, but I see there's already a mark from the factory, and the mark on the nuts right here, and you can't see it, but there's a little mark on the other side. Let me show you. Here's the factory mark, and here's a little paint spot on the side, and then I don't know if this mark on the nut there is supposed to mean anything or not, but it's got a little, I'll be careful not to do anything there. So that's those marks. They should tell you the A and B to put on. So let's get it back and see if I can get that, off. I only got my new tool in place. I was kind of worried about whether or not the socket would fit in. I think I'm going to have to stand on this. You'll notice my my tool has a definite bend in it now. Looks like it's going to be a trip to the rental store. Son of a... I hope that Yamaha mechanic rots in hell. Well, let's see if, before I run to the store, if I can bend this back the other way on this guy, on the 27. Okay, that one comes loose. Okay. That worked. Okay. I succeeded with my bent tool. What I did, I took my my torch here on a small pointy flame, and I just did the 3 tines, just a little bit. If you know about metal and stuff, expansion, and I've done this a lot. I've done bearings where you couldn't get off the motor, where we had to take the armature out of the motor and put it in the freezer for a week, and then bring it out and put a little bit of heat on one side of the inner race, and then under tension from the bearing puller, and off she pops. So basically that's what you can do without having to resort to rattling this off in the expense, so it's loose. Hallelujah! I'm excited. Well, let's see if we, yeah, okay. Mama didn't raise any fools, so we'll take this warm nut off with the socket. Also, our friend George over in Germany said, besides a 29mm, an inch and 1/8 will also work. But there's no, you still need the 27 back here. So that's off. We got our marks. Okay, got that nut. Supposedly just pull them off. Yep. I didn't mark that. I guess they don't say anything. It's splined, but it doesn't say anything about whether it has to go back to the same spot. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let me pull this belt off here. Okay, now we got everything out. We can pull out this last little plate here too. And this is in good shape. Get everything cleaning in behind and give it a good inspection. The faces are still clean, unlike our friend that had the J. Costa weight explode. And there seems to be no leaks or anything in here. Good time to inspect the gasket too. It seems to be in good shape. It doesn't really hold anything. It's mainly just waterproofing. And it may be being metal. It might be some sort of gasket for giving you spacing in and out, but I don't know. So since there's nothing to really have to do or change on this, stick it back in. Give a good look at the belt now. But I'll do that a little bit later. I was just checking. I mean, this is not a very high-tech tool, but it's, let's get back up here. Where's it? 31 3/4. 32 is the maximum limit up. This thing hasn't worn at all. Almost the same thing. 30 and 31 3/4. $31 1/2 if you use down here. Yeah, can you see? Yeah, you can't see there. I'm doing inspection. I mean, I'm getting some dust on my hands. I see no cracking on the sides. I'll open up the new one here in a second just to see. I don't know if this thing will go inside out. Okay. Let's do a check of the inside here. You can look at that side and I'll look at this side. This is 16,000 miles, and I don't see anything that would cause me any alarm. We'll look at the new one here and see what it is. I think I've wasted 100 and some bucks. Well, here's the belt. It's got a picture of the T-Max on the front and an ATV, so it must be a universal belt. It's kind of a different color. Let me flip this guy back over again. And there they are, side by side. Let's go on edge here. Flush on there. I mean, I can't really. I'd say this one, the used one, is just slightly. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. Just slightly narrower. And you can just barely feel the difference. Oh well, I got it. Use it. This will be a good spare when I'm too old and too cheap to change it or spend the money for a new one. Yep, exact same part numbers. I mean, you really can't tell the difference other than the side. It's got the pretty yellow color to it. Huh. Oh well.